All right, let's take a look at section 1.3 homework. It's a lot of rounding. This one, that one's easy. I'm going to skip it. So is this one. Where's the tough ones? Round the following numbers that estimate the product. All right, now we're talking. What I would do on this one is round to the how would I describe this? The first number that you see on the left, round to that number. So 38.74, I would round that to 40. 19, I would round that to 20. And that would give you a rough estimate of 800, I believe it is. There you go. Next up, first week at college, Daniel spent $28 on entertainment, $38 on food, $23 on gas. If there are 13 weeks in a semester, estimate the total amount of money he will spend on these things throughout the semester. So, hang on, let me get this one set up. This one's a little bit of work. All right, I got my Excel sheet here. Let's take a look. So the way that they're after here is to estimate pretty much everything. So 28, let's estimate that as 30. I'm doing this in Excel. It's easier for me to explain stuff. And I'm going to teach you guys to use Excel as we go. 38, we'll call that 40. 23, we'll call that 20 again. Now I'm going to add these guys together. Granted, you could do this on a calculator. Like I said, I'm just getting you guys used to Excel. So what I do is I hit equals, which means an equation's coming, and I write sum, S-U-M, which means we're going to be adding numbers together. So now I'm going to click and highlight these three items here, close parentheses, hit equals, and that adds up all your values. Now, it's 13 weeks in a semester, so I'm going to take my 90 there, and I'll multiply that by not 13, because we're estimating. 13 is going to round to 10. So you already know this. You can do this in your head. It's going to be 900, and sure enough, it is 900. All right, same story on this one. Franklin has just been hired for a new job and wants to work out his budget for each month. The health insurance plan he selected has an average monthly premium of $204. The average monthly cost of his electric bill is $130, and the phone internet cable package he wants costs an average of $74 each month. If his monthly salary is $1,800, estimate the amount of money he will have after paying these bills each month. So round to $104 to $200. Round $130 to $100. So we're rounding to the nearest 100 here. $74, we'll round that to 100. Right? Notice I'm not rounding that $74 to 70. All right, I'm rounding that guy all the way up to 100. And then your $1,800, we're actually, well, hang on. So we're going to go equals a sum of these guys. It's going to be 400. And then we're going to take this 1,800 and we'll round that to the nearest number to the left. So in this case, the nearest 1,000. So 2,000 minus your 400 gives you 1,600. Which I entered in already, and that is the right answer. So, couple takeaways. This problem drives people nuts sometimes because they're like, well, wait a minute, why don't I round the 74 to 70? Or, since this is 100, this is 100, this is 100, excuse me, rounded to the nearest hundreds, why don't I just leave this guy rounded to the hundreds? So when you're adding your sum of your values here and estimating them, I guess you want them all to be more or less to the same, rounding to the same decimal place, or the same unit, in this case, a hundreds place. And over here, when you get around to dividing, it's just easier when you divide, as you estimate, to just round it to the nearest leftmost number. That's the best explanation I could give you guys. Now this one, don't get freaked out, all right? There's a couple tricky parts. Laura rents a car while spending her vacation traveling to Brazil. When she returns the car, she has driven 850 miles and used about 34 gallons of gas. If gas costs an average of $4.889 per gallon, estimate how much she will spend on fuel. All right, first things first. This 850 miles, irrelevant. So we're just going to take our 34, round it to 30, and take this $4.889, round it to 5. We're just multiplying it. 150, boom, there you go. How about this one? Susan has a goal to complete a triathlon. The race consists of a 0.93-mile swim, a 24.8-mile bike ride, and a 6.2-mile run. In training, Susan can swim at an average pace of 1.2 miles per hour. She rides her bike at an average of 19.2 miles per hour and runs at 4.8 miles per hour. Estimate how long it will take her to complete the triathlon. Well, we're going to estimate pretty much everything here. So let's first take a look at the distances here. Your 0.93 mile swim is 1 mile. 24.8 mile bike ride is 20 mile bike ride. 6.2 mile run is a 6 mile run. As for your rates, 1 mile per hour for the swim, 20 miles per hour for the bike, 5 miles per hour for the run. Now, the next part is, I've got it right here, but how to calculate it. So here's what I did. I hit equals, right, which means you got an equation coming. And you could do this on your calculator or however you want. But basically, what you're doing is you're dividing your distance by your rate. So 1 divided by 1 plus 20 divided by 20 plus 6 divided by 5, 3.2 is going to be your answer, 3.2 hours. This next problem, at an office supply store, the ream of paper costs $4.79. Cartridge of ink costs $49.30. Sophie needs to buy 6 reams of paper, 8 cartridges of ink for her office. She needs to know how much money to bring, so estimate the cost of these supplies. I'm going to let you guys figure this out. You're pretty much rounding everything again. I will say this, though. When you round, don't round the 6 and the 8 to 10 and 10, okay? Leave them at 6 and leave them at 8. The reason I say that is they're just single units. They're easy to work with. If it was like 16 and 18, then yeah, I'd probably round those both to 20. But 6 and 8, that's easy enough to work with. So that's what you want to use to figure this out. All right. This problem, I'll let you guys read it. It's pretty straightforward. I'll read it. Josephine is self-employed and must submit estimated quarterly tax payments. Her predicted total tax liability for the year will be $40,000. Ouch. And her current withholdings are $16,256. She's advised to determine her quarterly payments by subtracting her current withholdings from her predicted total tax liability and then divided by 4. So what's a good estimate for figuring out her quarterly payments? So basically, I would round this guy to 20,000. You subtract it, so that's what? 40,000 minus 20,000 is 20,000. Divide that by 4. Wow, I just did that in my head. That's 5,000, I believe. Let's see if that's right. Oh, it's not. Okay, let me slow down. I guess I better figure this out. Hang on. All right, guys, I figured this one out. Oh, this was a tricky one. I'm glad I decided to do this with you. All right. So it turns out you want to go ahead and do the subtraction of the actual 16,256. Figure that out, and then divide by 4. You're going to come out with 5,936, which will round up to 6,000, which is the answer they wanted, not the 5,000 that I originally calculated. Now, let's learn from my mistake. Let's see if we can figure this out. So what I did was I rounded this guy, and then we went ahead and subtracted, then divided by 4. Why did we not do that? Why did we go ahead and subtract and then divide and then estimated the very last thing? Well, near as I can tell is by her advisement, they didn't say to estimate first thing. They said estimate for her quarterly payments. So the estimate is going off the quarterly, not off what her current withholdings and all that stuff are. So in other words, what's a good estimate for her quarterly payments? I guess when you see that good estimate on the quarterly, it means estimate after you figure out your quarterly. That's the best answer I can give you, and I hope you're okay with that. I don't think this one's going to give you too much trouble. You're going to use this line graph to estimate your total revenue for the month of October. So you just go through where it says October here, and you just estimate these guys. So 8,000, it's 4,000. This one's a harder one. It's 1,000. Add them all up. You'll get it. 13,000. Pretty easy. And this is the last guy I was given, the practice module. You just round these two numbers to the nearest 1,000, both of them, and then multiply it. So near as I could tell, we're looking at, 9,000 times 3,000. That should give you your answer of, 27,000. That should do it for you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close out and let you guys work on your homework.